why is this even a trend? Why do people really want to paint silver-plated trays and teapots and all of that? I've not been on board with it. Why don't you just clean it? Make it all shiny and new again. I actually like the tarnished look of silver. It's a trend, and I thought I'd give it a shot. I'm just going to see where my creativity takes me. It was just $1.99 from the bins at the thrift store, so if it becomes a great fail, it's not that big a deal. So come on, let's see what we can do. All right, like any other day, I have like a million projects going on, and so I guess I need to find a place where you can see well. So let me move these paints. Let's see, can you see? Yeah, I think so. All right, so I'm just going to take this little price tag off. It's already killing me, just the thought of painting it. Oh. Technically it says DIY paint can paint on metal, and while I believe them, and I think that's really true, I am going to actually prime this center piece in here because I feel like it might, I really don't want this paint to be distressed in the center. Now along the edges, I did want to wet distress it, and that's why I chose DIY paint. So around the edges, I'm going to not put any of my primer. So the primer I'm choosing to use is going to be Dixie Belle Slick Stick. This is my nice, well-loved container of Dixie Belle Slick Stick. There you go. Now technically I'm supposed to wait 24 hours after applying the slick stick. I guess I'll do that. Guess I'll follow the rules. So now that my paint is dry, it's time to put the transfers on. I was wanting to do a little bit of wet distressing, but I've let this sit on here for several days, so I'm hoping the wet distressing will still work. It did a little bit, and it looks really good, but let me try to get a little baby wipe after it to see if a little bit will come through. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's still going to come off a little bit. I don't want to distress the whole thing. I just want to distress a little bit around the edges where you can see this detail. Okay, so the transfer that I'm going to use today is Orange Grove, and it's by Redesign by Prima. So this is one of my absolute most favorite transfers that they've ever made. I absolutely love it, and my intention is to use it on my little coffee bar. But for now, I'm just going to use a little bit on this little tray because it's just so beautiful. The hardest part for me is always figuring out how I'm going to lay my transfer down. If you've never used a transfer before, they usually come in a book or a tube. They come in different sheets. So like if you're doing a piece of furniture, you'll know how big the coverage will be for each sheet. And you can take the sheets out. They usually also include a stick for you to rub the transfer down. Now you can use the transfer in an entire sheet like this and just lay it down and rub it off, or you can use bits and pieces of it, cut it apart, use the elements of the transfer that you want to put on your piece, and then save the rest for later to use at another time. Since I'm doing a little piece today, or this is a little piece, I am gonna just cut up, like, well, I've already cut up several pieces, and I'm going to lay them down on my piece and layer them. So I'm thinking that this bird, little hummingbirds like bird, would be really pretty on top of this orange stem or orange tree branch. But I'm trying to figure out, like I said, the hardest part always is figuring out how I'm going to lay my transfer down. So I've cut a piece and I'm just going to go for it. We'll see how it turns out. So once you decide where you want your transfer, you take the backing off like you saw me do, and you press it down to get it in place. And this paint has cured or set up and cured. It's been on here for several days. So this transfer should, in theory, rub off pretty easy. So let's see. All right, so I have a little bit of an edge. I cut these kind of close, so there's not much of the carrier paper for me to pull back. So I'm going over to this side where I left a little bit, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the carrier paper, and where I cut it too close right here, I should have left a little extra. This has a little bit, so I'm gonna pull back from here. And so what you would do is you would rub and slowly pull back as you see the transfer releasing to whatever you are putting it on. And it is coming off pretty easy, so that's good. You technically want to allow your paint to completely dry and set up before you apply a transfer. All right, so there you go. Look how pretty that is already. We just have our first piece down. So then it is wise to take a soft cloth and kind of burnish onto your piece. So I'm just using a soft microfiber and I'm rubbing it down. All right, so that piece is down. It's really pretty. So we have a few other ones that I was interested in putting on there. So I'm going to leave some space around my bird so I have something to pull back and not make the same mistake twice. I'm just going to go for it. What can it hurt? Nothing. Nothing at all. It's kind of a curved surface, so that's going to be challenging, but we can work through it. I'm curious to know, any of you out there that are watching the video that do transfers regularly yourself, how do you handle curved surfaces? What do you do? Don't pull up too fast. Don't be hasty. All right, I like that. Good. See there? Very good. All right, guys, I got to run check my soup. Okay, friends, my soup is good. I can't wait to eat it later. Just waiting on the hubby. It is chicken tortilla. All right, so I do have this sweet little blossom. And the neat thing about transfers is you can just kind of stick these little pieces in and they blend right in. So they don't even look like that's not where they were originally meant to be. They look like they were always there. So I just make the stems connect, rub it down, find a good place to pull it up. Perfect. So look, it looks like it's always meant to be there. So let's keep going. Let's go ahead and put our bird down. Beautiful hummingbird. Okay, I'm going to take my soft cloth before I forget. And I'm just going to rub down, rub the little flower, rub the bird. He's so pretty. All right, so now as I look at the composition of this piece, I could have offset it some and left some blank space over here, but I think I want to just fill this up with a little bit more fun. So I have some leaves and some more of the little white flowers I could do. I actually have another little orange and some white flowers that I could put off to the side if I wanted. What would you do? I do think it needs some more orange over here. I need to either round this out a little better or add a little something in front of it. So let me cut this out carefully. All right, I think I can fake this curve out. I think I'm going to bring some leaves right in here. So now we have some leaves that I want to put kind of over in this area. Yeah. So quite honestly, for this project, I didn't have a huge vision. I just knew I wanted to try this painted silver trend that is rushing around, has been around for a while, but now I think people are really doing the painted teapots, and I just really wanted to try it. So I really didn't have like a complete vision of what I wanted to do, but this is looking pretty good. So I think this is where I'm gonna land. The next thing I want to do, I realize it is a silver plate. I get that, but I think I want to take a little bit of gold gilding wax to mix in with the silver. My gilding wax, I'm just gonna put a little bit on my finger. I'm gonna use Dixie Belle's gold gilding wax, and I'm just gonna go around this tray, just around the edges where I distressed it. So now what I'll have is a little bit of gold and silver. Oh yeah, see, that's so pretty. I tell you what, I've really fallen in love with this gilding wax lately. All right, so there's my cute little tray, all gilded and transferred and painted. And I like it. I think it's very pretty. And I think I will go ahead and seal this and display it. All right, I was gonna say I was done with the video, but I changed my mind because I do get this question a lot. I said I was gonna seal it. People ask, what do you seal it with? So here you go. I'm gonna seal this one today with Dixie Belle's Clear Coat Satin. So this is how I'm gonna do it. All right, so I'm going to probably go ahead and put another coat on this, maybe even 3, because while I have decided to use it as a decorative plate, somebody somewhere, when it ends up in a thrift store, because I'm sure it will, that's just a reality, all of our stuff, if it's not treasured by our children, will get shifted to a thrift store. And somebody might want to use it as a trinket tray. So I want it to hold up for them years down the road. So I just put 1 coat on, I'll put another and maybe a third, and then it'll be done. So this trend, not so bad. I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly had a great time doing this project. If you would, subscribe to our channel so that you won't miss the next video. Thanks for watching.